Don't take drugs. Take drugs. I'm about to show you a story in its entirety. But first, let me have a little rant about drugs.
Australians are now taking prescription pills is setting off alarm bells. The number of seniors who take 5 or more different medications every day has in fact doubled in the last decade, and it's prompted warnings they could be doing more harm than good.
Drugs. To be healthy. Healthy drugs. But everyone who hears those two words, I'd say 100% of people who hear the word health and drugs scoff. When are health and drugs using the same term? They're not. Look at the amount of drugs now people are taking. I knew a person once. He said, I'm going to the doctor for a checkup. He was around 50 years old. I said, mate, I guarantee from this moment forth, you're going to be on drugs. They're going to do a checkup. They're going to find something a bit abnormal. Recommend you take drugs short term where they do some more checks to make everything okay. And from this day forth, you will be on drugs. Now, I'm either Nostradamus, a psychic, because I was right, because he got his test done, but when his test results came back, they found something not quite right and offered him drugs in the short term while they were working out what could be the problem. 2 years later, the guy's still on drugs, and it was upping it as well. If drugs are making you healthy, why do you start with 1 or 2 drugs and end up taking many drugs? I did a job where I was inspecting lots of houses with old people, and they were taking up to 30 and 40 pharmaceutical drugs a day. I thought, man, if you can pop that many drugs and not die, you probably don't need all of them, if any. But people are taking so many drugs now. They're not getting you healthy. You take a drug for one issue, but then you've got to take another drug for another issue that drug's causing. That's why they're taking so many, one drug to counteract the next drug. If the drugs were getting you healthy, you'd be taking less drugs over time, but you're not. They're suppressing symptoms and creating more issues and more issues until the day you die. People cop that because you're old. Oh, he's just old, he died. Hey, you probably died because the amount of drugs you were on. You want to get healthy? You don't go to drugs for health. No one ever has or ever will went healthy on drugs. Otherwise, you would start with one and end up on none. Not start with one and end up on 40 like all these old people are doing. And then you look at the effects of the drug. No, not the side effects. All the effects of the drug that are destroying people. As I was saying, you take a drug for one issue, but then you've got to take another drug because that's going to put pressure and compromise other organs in the body. It's destroying you long term. As you tell your kids, say no to drugs. As I'm going to say to adults, say no to drugs long term. Short term, they can get you out of pain. Great stuff, really good. But if you want longevity and a good long life, healthy, drugs and health do not go hand in hand.
Bernice Smith and her husband Greg have drawers separating their morning and afternoon pills.
A lot of them have been a gradual thing, so you just sort of add one more packet to the drawer.
Between them, they take 20 different pills a day for a range of issues from osteoporosis to heart conditions.
And it starts off with, say, a couple of Panadol a day, and then just as you get older, you gradually get more complaints. So more pills.
Research from the University of WA has revealed almost 1 million older Australians are taking 5 or more different prescription medications a day. That's more than doubled in the past decade. The experts call it polypharmacy, and they
we've seen with multiple medicines include the potential for an increased risk of falls, fractures and hospital admissions.
Australia's pill popping rate is also much higher than the US or UK.
The experts admit it is a sign of modern medicine, helping people to live longer, but they stress the benefits must be weighed against the potential for harm.
With the pharmacy that I go to, they always check and make sure, and if I haven't taken a tablet before, they will give me a sheet that tells me what it's all about.
So there's no need for any alarm from any individual.
Dr. Page is currently working with colleagues at UWA to develop clinical guidelines to reduce the overuse of medication. Jessica Brown for 10 News First.